For the past week, I've been trying to live the perfect zero-waste lifestyle as part of an eco-minimalism challenge that I was trying to push my boundaries and see how far I can really go. Some people may see my channel and think that I am incredibly sustainable, but there are so many things that we could always work on, especially due to access and privilege. There are so many things that some of us just simply cannot do. This week, I wanted to focus on what I could do. I wanted to focus on food and seasonality. I wanted to focus on my consumption habits and what is possible for me in this area that I'm currently staying in. Access is a barrier to many of us trying to live a sustainable lifestyle, and so I decided to take on this challenge in the middle of nowhere in northern Michigan in the US. So I hope you enjoy this video and my challenge and see just how difficult living a zero-waste lifestyle is and what's possible in this current system. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you never miss another sustainable video. Good morning and welcome to day one of the 7-day sustainability challenge. So the first action that we're going to be doing this week is to actually work on how sustainable our diet is. That's the first prompt, and actually for me that works out really well because I really wanted to look at more cooking from scratch, seasonality, locality, really understanding different regions and what is available, because obviously what's available to me in London is not available to my boyfriend's family here in northern Michigan and vice versa. So this is definitely something I'm going to be really interested in testing out today. To help me along this challenge, I've been using the app Fabulous, who are kindly sponsoring today's video and encourage me to take a more in-depth look at the role that sustainability or eco-minimalism plays in my life. In their app, I'm taking on the 7-day sustainability challenge to help keep me accountable and provide some structure to my week. The app, however, extends further than just this. It helps you to build new habits and make them stick. It's actually already helped my partner and I get up and go for a 1-mile run each morning. Firstly, I chose what time of day was best for me to start my work on this challenge. Then I chose what they call the 3 superpowers to help keep me on track. With each day, there is a theme to help me focus on a different topic and try to broaden the scope of beyond what I would have thought about myself. The first action is to start by thinking about how sustainable my diet is and how my food choices can have a much bigger impact than I previously thought. I really enjoy having the prompts and accompanying articles to help contextualize my challenge and understand how it fits into the larger picture. If you're interested in Fabulous, then check out the description box for 25% off their subscription to Fabulous Premium for 1 year for the first 100 people. Alongside my prompts, I decided to have days 1 and 2 be focused on connection. And by this I mean connecting to the people, the things and the nature that surrounded me. I have always found that when embarking on a new challenge, taking time to connect to the reasons why we take on challenges in the first place and what's truly important to us in life helps give me a better understanding of its importance. It also helps me to observe my habits and see where I could improve, whilst refocusing my attention on the relationships in my life and minimize my desire to consume in ways that are counter to my core values. I think one thing that I'm realizing is that focusing on the things that you personally do a lot is really important. Like, for example, I really love to experiment with food and cooking from scratch and things like that, and that has definitely helped me to think more about, what's in season, eating locally, trying to find out just how much more sustainable it is to cook something in yourself or to buy it in packaging, because it's not like a binary thing. It's not just never buy plastic packaging because that's never more sustainable. It's looking at the resources that go into all of these things and really considering and thinking about actually what is more sustainable. Is it more sustainable to buy this thing in packaging, or is it more sustainable to buy the individual items and make them from scratch? Because you also have to think about not only the resources, but are you going to waste more food if you're going to have something that might sit in your cupboard, and that's been something I've been thinking about a lot, specifically today. It's very snowy outside and cold, so I'm definitely going to be thinking today is going to be more of a research day, I think. In sustainability challenges, I think it's really important to spend some time just learning and thinking, and we're definitely going to be doing some reading today. I've been reading a lot about the eco-gender gap because this is a video that we're going to be making soon, and that has definitely put a lot of things into perspective for me, and just trying to basically learn more, consume less, and be happy and content with the things that I already have. There's a really cute black squirrel outside and it's running around, and it just makes me want to go outside, but it's snowing, so I don't want to. But it is so cute. So I made bagels yesterday, so we have a few more in here. I was actually quite surprised at how easy bagels were to make. They weren't so labour intensive as a lot of baking things that I have discovered are, and also they're quite affordable in terms of the actual things that make up the ingredients. It's mostly just flour, water, salt, yeast and some sugar. And these were things I was able to get in paper packaging at a normal, regular supermarket. So I'm currently reading All You Can Say, which is a collection of essays all about climate science, climate change, climate justice, which is really, really, really good. I thought that this was a perfect book to read during this week when I'm trying to live that perfect zero waste lifestyle. But really what I'm trying to do is understand what my limits are, my boundaries, and what I can possibly do with whatever I have available to me. So I want you to remember that during this week, it's not just about, trying to push those boundaries and trying to be really as, that perfect zero waste person. I'm trying to just see what my limits are, see how far I can go and where those lines are, and what I just simply can't do. And reading this book is really inspiring because it gives you the perspective of so many people from around the world that you just would never be able to experience yourself, and it gives you a lot more of an opportunity to empathize and understand and give yourself a much more well-rounded approach to the way that you think about climate change and climate science and climate justice and the information that we receive, and being much more open-minded about it and just learning. So yeah, I'm going to spend the next probably 30 minutes to an hour reading this book, and then I'm going to meal plan. And this evening we're going to go to a very normal American shop that they have, supermarket, and see what I'm able to get unpackaged, what is locally sourced, and all of that kind of stuff. So I'll share that with you after I finish reading this book. Okay, so we got back from the supermarket and we were able to get a lot of stuff unpackaged, like all the fruit and vegetables that we needed, although nothing is local because obviously we're really, really, really north, so nothing is growing right now, and loads of stuff had been imported from Mexico, so we did try to get all the stuff that was grown in the US, but even stuff from California, like that's still really, really far away. The other things we got, obviously we didn't get fresh tomatoes because they're not in season, so instead we got canned tomatoes, and the cans are still very widely recycled, I think everywhere. We got all the flour and stuff in paper, and then we only just got a few things in plastic that we weren't able to get in any other materials. One thing I forgot to add is that there is actually a shop where you can buy unpackaged stuff, but it's about a 45-minute drive away, whereas the shop that we went to was about 25 minutes. So I think that's also something you have to weigh up when you live somewhere that's, not easily accessible to zero waste items and shops and stuff like that. You have to decide, is it worth driving further to get those unpackaged items, or especially with gas prices being so expensive right now, it just kind of, I don't know, those are things you have to weigh up. I'd really like to know what you would do in the comments below. Obviously this is very different from me being in London, being able to get the bus or cycle there, so yeah, it's just something that you have to weigh up when you're thinking about packaging versus fuel consumption. It's a nice evening.
It's a lovely evening. The sun is still up, the air is fresh.
Also, this is our only hobby because there's nothing else to do, is go for a walk. But I'm not complaining. It's pretty nice out here, and we see deer all the time, which to you might think, but I think that's pretty cool. We need to work out though. We need to do some exercise apart from walking. Okay, good morning. We're making some coffee. We're going to be making it in this Chemex, which is something my boyfriend already has, but they don't have a reusable filter here. They use paper, but at least we can put the paper in the compost. But obviously a reusable one would be best, but that's what we have been using. We're just going to use what we have. That's always the best thing when it comes to sustainability, is always using what you have instead of going out and buying new fancy things if you don't need them quite yet. Hello. I am good. How are you? Good. So when we got back from the shop, I forgot to mention what actually was going to be on our meal prep. And the reason why we meal prep is because it helps us to save on food waste, because when you're just buying lots of ingredients, sometimes you just don't get to them if they're at the back of your fridge or various reasons. So this week we're going to be meal prepping some breakfast burritos. This is the first time I've ever done this, so we'll see how that goes. I'm also going to be making an easy tomato bolognese sauce that can go in a lasagna and also just go on its side, so that we can take that out the freezer and just have whenever we're too lazy to or don't have time to make something proper. We're also going to be making beans on toast, like homemade baked beans, because we both love this. And we're also going to be making a vegan chicken noodle soup. Very American style, not like a European style, which I am very excited about. I'm also going to be making some more bagels, and I'm going to be trying to make a standard kind of wheat bread. This is actually going to be in my next meal prep video, so definitely watch out for that. And also for the burritos, we're going to be making homemade tortillas, because this is definitely something I want to weigh up the options of. Is it better to buy them in plastic packaging, or is it better to buy the flour and to make them yourself? I think taste wise, definitely making them yourself, but we will have a see. We'll have a go. I also need to have a shower, so I'm going to try out these new shampoo bars that I'm trying out for a different video, and we're going to see what they do. Good morning, another day of this challenge. Okay, let's see what we are doing today. Live more sustainably. Okay, so the prompt is, what can you make a little bit greener? And then you write it down in the app. What can you make a little bit greener? Okay, let's think about this. Okay, so the first thing I went for, what I can make a little bit more greener, is my relationship. If you don't know, if you're new to my channel, my fiance is actually American, so the biggest footprint of my life is coming to visit him or him coming to visit me. But that is in the works. We've applied for our visa a year ago. It's coming up to our 1 year anniversary of applying for that, so bit of a sore subject. But that's my biggest contradiction in my life, is the fact that I have to fly to visit my partner, which 8 years in, I'm not giving up now. That's why I make such a huge effort in the rest of my life, because flying is so carbon heavy. But something that's a bit smaller is borrowing more for events and reading, and when I only need something once or twice. I think borrowing and renting and lending things is such a great community-oriented thing that also helps us to reduce our need for resources and things like that. I'm gonna tick that off. So just doing the best that you can with what you have available to you is always something that I practice and preach. But yeah, we're gonna make some breakfast using whatever we have in the cupboard. Okay, for breakfast we're having something really simple. We're just having some oatmeal, what a surprise. But I wanted to share this with you. We've got some frozen blueberries that are actually Michigan grown and then frozen so that you can have them during the off season, because obviously blueberries are not in season right now. So that's a cool thing. But I also wanted to say that my boyfriend's family grow a lot of their own food, and they actually have a lot of like tomatoes that they grow themselves and they put in the freezer. I don't know how long these things last in the freezer, but they must last a pretty long time. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you, because that's something that you have to think about, or they have to think about when they're eating in the off season, because they definitely eat very seasonally and they're very conscious about that. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that, because that's a great way of making things last longer, being able to eat things that are not in season, because again, seasonality is something I'm very, very, very interested in and trying really hard to eat more of. So yeah, this is really cool. To be honest, a lot of this week was spent just assessing my habits and doing a lot of research and learning. I don't have most of the things that I would use to live more sustainably or try to live that perfect zero waste lifestyle here with me, so I just thought that I would revert back to our fundamentals of zero waste living and refusing and reducing and really trying to use what we already have. There are lots of things that are not necessarily the most sustainable choice that I've been doing this week, but they are what I have already with me. The coffee filters are a great example, but that's the least of my worries. When it comes to coffee, the biggest thing we need to think about is it directly traded? Is it fair trade? Is it coffee that we're getting that's not ethical? How far has it traveled to get to us? That is the bigger picture when we're thinking about sustainability and zero waste, and these are fundamentals I've really been thinking about this week. On our last day of this challenge, we're actually going to go to the shop that has a zero waste section. It's not a zero waste shop, but it has things that you can get unpackaged, which helps you to actually get what you need rather than overbuying because that is the only thing available. So I can't wait to show that to you. And to be honest, this has basically turned into what I ate this week, trying to live more sustainably, but I really hope that you have been enjoying it. And this has been a very realistic look at, I guess, my day-to-day and just trying to consume less and slow down and take advantage of what I do have available to me and really look at my own privilege and how much easier my life is in the city. Today is a very special day because it is Earth Day, so I'm very excited that I'm doing this challenge during this week, because sometimes you just need outside inspiration and motivation to get, a kick up the arse to really make a big change, or little changes that add up and keep you motivated, because motivation is something that should not be relied upon. It is a fickle beast. Because this week we have really been focusing on sustainable eating and our diet and getting outside, what we can get available to us, and it has been a huge eye-opener to how privileged I am living in somewhere like London, and even just outside London where my parents live, where I've been staying as well. The access that they have is ridiculous compared to being somewhere like here where you have to have a car. I mean, it's a half a mile just to get to the mailbox. Okay, so on Instagram, I actually asked you whether I should get in the lake today to celebrate Earth Day. We already went for a run this morning, which is another... I'm just very pleased that we're able to do that, because we are in nature and it's just so beautiful. And we were rewarded by very beautiful birdsong and even a woodpecker. I think there were even 2 woodpeckers, which was, pretty nice. And also the black squirrel keeps hanging around outside and eating and looking so cute. It just makes me wish that I had a really long telephoto lens so I could just get the cutest little photos. So cute. Okay, I'm gonna hike some more coffee because it is around lunchtime. We're just taking a break from editing. I'm taking a break from editing. My boyfriend is working upstairs. He'll take a break from... Actually, he edits as well. Not video, like words. He's a wordy person. We're going to make lunch and we're going to do a lot of Earth Day themed things. But most of you are saying that I should get in the lake today. It is 0 degrees. I'm just putting it out there, okay? 0 degrees. It's going to happen, isn't it? We're having leftovers for lunch because I made some tacos last night, which were really good with homemade tortillas, and I'm just using the rest of that on top of here. And yes, I'm using some vegan cheese. I know, you all know I don't like it, but this is a new brand that I've never tried before. It's by Field Roast, and I have tried their sausages, which I really, really, really like. So I kind of think that it's worth giving it a go, Plus, my boyfriend likes these, so it's not all lost. It's not all lost. Okay, it's very obvious that you want me to get in the lake, so we're gonna go and do it now.
sweet on my tongue. Walk through fire and feel no pain. All is lost, all is known. All is lost and all is known. Why does the bluebird fly on and on? Everyone tells her it's time to come home. She doesn't listen, no, she doesn't care. Oh, little bluebird, fly on your own.
Okay, so today is the last day. Some thoughts about this week. I don't think I had a true appreciation for the reliance on cars for people who don't live in cities or in the UK in areas which are, even if you're outside the city, are still well connected. I think being here and seeing just how spread out things are, or just how difficult things are, or how expensive things are. I think food in the US, I've said this before, but I think it really is a lot more expensive, obviously depending on where you shop. But the co-op that we went to yesterday obviously had a huge array of stuff, which was amazing, but it was really expensive, really, really, really expensive. There are some things that were just... So what it made me think is that there are certain things that I'm definitely going to be buying from those kinds of shops that I can afford to do so, but not everything, you know? Trying to do the best that I can by buying the things that I think are most important to get unpackaged, or most important to buy local, or most important to buy organic, etc. And for different people, there's going to be different things. It's important that we find things that we relate to, and why it's important for us to connect to that thing, because we're going to be able to put a lot more effort and motivation into that specific area or niche of sustainability, or trying to live more sustainably. Other areas that actually were good for me this week were honestly just repeating clothes. You've seen me wear the same things almost every single day, because I don't have much stuff with me here at all. But it hasn't been a problem, and I haven't really thought, oh, I don't have anything to wear. I just have a few items that I can wear when I leave the house, when I go on my run, and when I'm in the house. It also just really made me reconnect that idea of reusing what you already have, and just simply saying no to things and going without when things just aren't aligned with what we can do in a more sustainable way. But before this video gets too long, I just want to say one of the important things that I really did reconnect with this week as well is, especially using the app, is just looking at small steps and small seeds and seeing how those can really grow and flourish into what we can become over a great deal of time. We don't have to do everything really quickly. We don't have to do everything immediately. We just have to plant those seeds every single day and just try and do what we can to learn and to unlearn and to relearn, and to try and do the best with what we have accessible to all of us. I'd love to know if you tried a challenge like this before. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you never miss another sustainable video. And if you're interested in more seasonal eating and kind of short cooking videos and zero waste videos, please check out my Instagram and follow me there. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you next week.